courage, and commitment. Please welcome the man who is building the next generation of transformational leaders. Let's put our hands together and give it up to Brahm Memone, the man behind the event. Over to you, Brahm.
Thank you. I will wait for my Zoom master to spotlight me, and then we can get started. There we go. From club to community, the leadership multiplier. The purpose of this presentation is simply this. If a club is a community, it multiplies leaders. If the club doesn't feel like a community, then it's a leadership divider, membership divider. And it is true because I have been a Toastmaster for 29 years. I've been a member of over a dozen clubs because I've moved around. Some clubs I've been a member for 5 years, 6 years, some clubs for 2-3 months. Some clubs I've gone in, become a member and said, this club is not the right fit for me and moved to another club. I've done that. So this is my opinion only. This is not, I don't represent Toastmasters International. This works for me both in an online club, which is Leadership Speak, as well as physical clubs, where I've succeeded as well, and we've got trophies from the district in the physical clubs as well. We are, of course, the top club in the district and globally as well. Please check out the dashboard after we finish here, and you will see where we stand in the dashboard currently, as well as the year that we just ended. If you attended the board meeting at the convention just gone by, I think it was Daniel Rex who mentioned this, or was it Aleta Rocha, our new international president? She mentioned, or Dan Rex, I can't remember, I watched the board meeting anyways, that physical clubs have a better chance of succeeding because they create a better community. There's about 17.1 members on average globally per club in a physical club. Online, it is 13 point something. So they say physical clubs are more successful. Leadership Speak, on the other hand, is an online club. If you go to the dashboard today, you'll see there's 71 members, but we will have attrition at the end of September. Members come and go. And we look at that today. If members come and go, how do we maintain culture? How do we multiply leadership? How do we still keep a community going in spite of members coming and going? It's, I think, the most important presentation that I've done in the past 5 years, I believe. Because in the past 5 years, I've done very big, large presentations. I've spoken for hours on end, for those of you who attended those events, and done lots of training for Toastmasters. So today, I will speak for about an hour and a half, and there's a lot of material. So I'd like to launch a poll first. And I think that's what we are going to be doing. Yes. So Irene, if you can launch poll number 1. Thank you very much. Now, read this very carefully. All right. So Jyoti, if you can read out what's on the poll, what's the question?
This is poll number 1, Leadership Multiplier. In your Toastmasters experience, what do you feel is most lacking in clubs today? Purpose, a clear mission that inspires members, belonging, where members truly feel seen, heard, and valued, ownership, members stepping up and taking responsibility, or stewardship, leaders protecting and strengthening the culture for the future. Please go ahead. We're seeing a whole bunch coming in. Yeah, we still are there. Yeah.
Let me know when most of them have voted. I can't see, the screen is very far from me. I'm standing very far from the screen, so I can't read the screen actually.
We're almost there, Brahm.
Good.
We have 75% who've signed in and voted on the poll. Please go ahead. Few more.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, get engaged. This is the
This is something.
time when you get engaged with me and we get engaged together. If you're not engaging here, the question is, are you engaged in your club, right? And how are you inspiring the members in your club? Whatever you're doing here, you're doing in your club. Whatever you do in your club is being amplified here. So it's time today, through this coaching, to turn into a whole new leaf if you are not engaged. And if you're engaged, how to take it to the next level so that there's this leadership multiplier that happens. And there's going to be a handout as well for those of you who are attending online here. So we'll put that handout as well very soon as the poll is done. Okay, I think we'll end the poll. Irene, if you can share the results. And take a screenshot of the results. Let me just get closer so I can read the screen. So what's missing in most clubs, the number one thing is ownership, members stepping up and taking responsibility. If you didn't vote, then well, you know why. That it's ownership, right? And taking responsibility, being engaged. That's what you're saying. So if you didn't vote, then you know why. So if you can take a screenshot, Irene, and I hope by the end of this session for after our hour and a half, we'll all be engaged, right? It takes time for us to warm up. So it is just to watch how we transition through this session. It is the most important session that I've ever done in Toastmasters. And this session came about after a club requested me to do this presentation for 10 minutes. And today I'm going to speak for an hour and a half on that presentation. I don't know if Sue Burnett is here today, who invited me to do this presentation. Take a screenshot and close the poll, Irene, and post the results, the screenshot in the chat for us. Thank you. Irene, let me know when you are done.
Done.
Done? All right, perfect. So Irene, if you can put out the first handout, the handout called the Leadership Multiplier. There you go. It's in the chat. Thank you very much. You can use that as a cue as we go along. Right. And, oh, sorry, that's just the poll. Thank you very much. And if Irene, if you can post the PDF, just the first one, the Leadership Multiplier PDF. So there's going to be a handout for you to follow along and make notes in there as well as we go along. Okay, so are you ready? What does it mean to create a community to begin with? And there's something very interesting has happened in the world, where at least I grew up in very small little towns. Maybe it was different, or you know what? I was born in Kenya, in small little towns. And even in the bigger towns and cities, there was a sense of community. We knew people on our street, we knew people up and down the road. And what would happen from time to time is that people would knock on the door, neighbors knock on the door and say, we've cooked something today and here's an extra plate. And, and my mother would be doing the same from time to time. There was a sense of community. We knew each other. But in today's world, the state of the world is that we have forgotten what community means. We are so busy with our darned phones, right? And we are connected digitally, but we are not really connected to each other. I mean, that profound relatedness isn't there. And the world is getting more and more isolated, more and more lonely. The suicide rates are increasing amongst the young people. And that's the new normal, right? So we live in a highly individuated world. We all know that. And that is amplified in Toastmasters, that highly individuated world. So, by the way, if anyone is posting any links, they will be deleted, or any big whatever you're posting there, it will be deleted. So Mark put something and then left the room. If you can please delete that for us. So that's such a distraction, because right there in front of me, the chat. And so I've asked my team to delete anything that has got links or self-promotion or something. So please do not put any links or self-promotion. And I'll caution the rest of you, if you do see a link, do not click on it, because you don't know where it will lead to. All right? And people are desperate. We are in a lonely world, so people are desperate to promote themselves or to scam, whatever it is. Don't click on any links. I just saw that. So thanks for removing that. All right. So connections are very, very transactional rather than relational. Even in a Toastmasters club, I find that if an executive team member, or somebody in the team, or one of the members wants something from another member, they would say, "Can I have this, please?" Whatever. But it's very transactional. There's no relationship. All right. I go to clubs in physical domain as well as online clubs where they have got good number of members. The club that I go to here, which is not far from me, has got about 40 members. But there's no connection. There's no real relationships. The meetings are very weak because there's no community. And when there's no community and there's no teamwork, the meetings become very weak in nature, because every member is a leader without a title, right? And leaders need to know how to connect. But our connections are very transactional, and that's another reason why our clubs are very loose in nature. And they are not tight in terms of the quality or the excellence, the service that is provided. And there's more conflict in clubs because there's no real community. One person is going this way, the other person is going this way, and they are supposed to be in a group studying communication and leadership. So that is a problem that is amplified in Toastmasters. What's happening out in the real world is the isolation, the individuation, and so on. Right? And communities have disappeared or are disappearing, or people don't know how to be in a community, how to come together to make strong communities that make a difference. We have forgotten how to do that. So from time to time when I go on Facebook, Toastmasters International group, and I see a lot of people complaining about Toastmasters International. But Toastmasters International can't do much. They've given you all the training. I've gotten the same training. My club has got 71 members. There's clubs that I know are very strong. Some of you are from strong clubs here today. And you know, right, that the training is adequate. It has been provided by Toastmasters International for many, many years. The same training. So as we go along in the digital age, and the more we are sort of hooked to this device here, the less we know how to create community, the less we know how to come together, right? And the impact has disappeared from communities. And when communities disappear, how does the globe operate? So it's become even more centralized, more controlled politically as well, rather than where communities thrive is when people are engaged at the local level. Where Toastmasters thrive, it's at the Toastmasters level, not at Toastmasters International level. They're doing whatever they can, right? So it is at the club level. So, of course, leadership is created at the grassroots level, and that's where fundamental change happens. That's where it is, right here. In this very room, we can start changing things. At the end of this session, we will post a request for feedback, right? If you want to be coached personally by me, put your name in there and say, I like some coaching or mentoring, whichever it is that you want for your club, for yourself, to become a better Toastmaster, okay? And we'll start to make some changes. I'm here to serve. Now, when we begin to serve and make those changes, guess what? Our lives become fulfilling and meaningful. People are looking for fulfillment and meaning in their lives. And when they come to Toastmasters, they don't find it, despite the fact that it is all about communication and leadership. But they don't find that meaning, that fulfillment. So how are we communicating, right? We have to improve on that. So strong communities is the key, and it starts in this room, ladies and gentlemen. It starts right here, right now. Okay, so when we start to create communities, we need to collaborate. Would you agree? A club is only successful when members, the executive team, they're all on the same level playing field, all collaborating together. The executive team is really there to help along the club with certain key aspects of the club operations. But really, everyone is really a key member in the club, and they need to get engaged as if they are leaders in the club. Of course, don't say you're the president if you're not the president. You know what I mean, right? So, here are the obstacles to communities, right? I already said we are in a highly individuated world. So what's the problem? The problem is we are thinking more about me than we, the group. But change and transformation happens when we think about others. When we are only thinking about ourselves, I'll come and go as I like in the club, then it's not really a club. It's not really a community. You're just an individual doing whatever you like. And I know a lot of individuals who do that all the time. I don't have the time. I'm too busy. And so they only think about me and we, and they don't add anything. Actually, they take more away from the club than add. So there's people who will add to the club, and there's people who will take more than add. What we want to see is more positive addition than extraction. And when we see more addition and generation of energy in the club, add value, then extraction of value, then clubs will grow. Okay? So it only happens when each and every one of you here, all of you here, begin to think about we as a team. When you add value, when you go the extra mile, you walk the talk. Leaders need to walk the talk. They need to be exemplary. You have to exemplify our values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Especially service and excellence has to be present. Of course, integrity and respect for sure, absolutely. But if you come to our meeting at Leadership Speak every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Toronto, New York time. By the way, I'm not selling the club. But if you do, you will see from the time you enter the room till the time you exit the room, service and excellence is present at the highest standards. Right? We always talk about we, not me. I always insist, our club members insist, that we are a team and a community. And those clubs that do are very strong clubs, and I know some very strong clubs in the globe, globally. I do visit quite a lot of clubs. I get invited everywhere. All right? So if your club is not there, begin to think about we rather than me. And say, how can I contribute and add to this group? The more you add to the group, the more you go out of your way to go that extra mile, you will grow as a leader. A leader always grows when they add value. When they're only extracting value, you will never grow as a leader. You might be able to stand up and maybe able to speak a little bit, but that's about it. You will not be able to get the real communication skills. Right? By the way, as well, another thing is a message popped up for me in the chat for me individually. I can't read messages because I'm presenting. So if you want to send messages, please send it to Jyoti here, and she'll take them down and let me know later on. I am not able to read messages, private messages right at the moment. What we need to do is turn our relationships from surface level based conversations and convenience to which are transactional in nature, to more about taking a deep interest in members around us. Because if you want to add value, then you need to know your members well. You need to know, even if you're just a lay member, right? You need to know everyone in the club and know what their needs are. And they need to know your needs and why you are in the club. And we'll talk about that a bit more, about why are you in the club. And as you know, if you've attended my other presentations, I don't even call it a club. It's a study group to study communication and leadership. When I tell people I'm going to a club, my friends, whatever, my family, then they say, what are you just clubbing? You know, that unconscious stuff that comes up in their head is clubbing. But if I tell my family and friends that I'm going every Saturday to study communication and leadership for 2 hours at 9:30 a.m. in the morning, oh, you're going to study. All right, we'll see you in 2 or 3 hours. No problem. Now you're still clubbing? If you're just clubbing, what the heck are you doing? Come along with us. See what I mean? So all that adds up to becoming a strong community of people, right? Because what we are looking for is meaning and to flourish. And when there's community, that's the only time when we thrive and flourish. When it is only about me, right? If it's only about me, it is survival mode. It's not a thriving mode. It's not a flourishing mode. It is survival mode. I'm only thinking about me, right? It's a basic instinct, of course. To survive in a highly individuated world, I have to think about myself. That's how we've been programmed, and this is what we've been taught. But we have to unlearn that, and we have to think about teamwork, community. Because as you know, the world is changing tremendously, and it's changing very, very fast. I don't need to mention, you all have heard this before millions of times, but I'll just put it in. Artificial intelligence and the large language models, right? They are doing a lot of the work that you used to do before. What used to take me a few weeks to put together takes me now half a day to put together. All right? So in the days of artificial intelligence, when that intelligence can do a lot of the mundane, mediocre work, the average work, then you, me, we all need to become better human beings, better at connecting, better at creating relationships, better at creating communities, because artificial intelligence will not be able to do that for you, because it's not emotional. It's just very logical, right? It can pretend to be emotional, but it will not impart what you get from a human being. When a human being, face to face or through the camera, says, I love you, it means a lot different than a robot telling you, I love you. Would you agree? And that happens in a real community. In Toastmasters Club, when we walk in, I mean, we don't tell people, okay, I love you. Some of us do. Idiots like me, perhaps. But you know, I go around the room and I shake hands with everyone. My Toastmasters shake hand, and I greet everyone, and I try to find out one little bit about them, and I meet everyone. While most people, some of them are clustered over here, right? 3 or 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them are standing over here, and those 2 groups will never talk to each other, and they're in the same club. I make sure that I talk to everyone and I get to know everyone's goals, why they are in the Toastmasters. And I stand up and I announce why I am in Toastmasters. Right? That's how I create community around me. Because I'm really looking for real happiness, not artificial happiness. AI cannot give me happiness in the end. Human beings do. Whether they're online or in a physical meeting, human beings give me real pleasure and happiness. So here's our opportunity for creating communities. Toastmaster is more than speeches and roles. If you're just turning up to do a speech, if you're just turning up to do a role, you missed the point. because then it's only about you. So Toastmasters is more than speeches and roles. It's about community, it's about teamwork, it's about getting to know your members, it's about true, genuine connection where every member feels that they're being heard, they're being seen. We will talk about that soon. It's more than speeches and roles. It's more than a performance. It is about genuineness. It's about warmth, because we are in an environment where we stand up and we are very vulnerable and we want to speak. And people are not as vulnerable as they could be because they are just turning up for speeches and roles. And so we are not really opening up our hearts. We are not truly expressing ourselves. And when we are not expressing ourselves in our presentations, then what? We are just holding back, and we're just doing a performance. And we're thinking, hope this person will like me. Hope I'm validated. I hope the evaluator gives me a good evaluation. Because I'm thinking of me. I'm not thinking of we. But at Toastmasters, it is different. It has to be different. By the way, and this is so true, a Toastmasters Club is a living laboratory. It is a school. It's an educational institution. It is not the real world. Here we practice so that what we do here, we can do in the real world. If you are not doing it here, then are you doing the same in the real world? Your life is not really compartmentalized as much as you might want to think, that in Toastmasters I'll be like this, and in another place I'll be like that, and with my friends I'll be like this. But there's a common thread wherever you go. There's a famous book by Zen Kabat, I believe, that says, wherever you go, there you are, because your life is not compartmentalized in the least bit. And so, if you did not vote, we'll be posting 3 more polls. Please do vote and get engaged, because it's a living laboratory for leadership, belonging, and connection. And this is where it happens. It happens in this room right now with us all together. Please search on your video if you can, all right? Have a look at all the people on the screen here. Get engaged. So here we are experimenting to learn and create communities that support each other, serve each other, and celebrate each other. Right? Celebrate each other. Very important. Are you celebrating your members? Are you supporting each other? Are you asking for support? Are you asking to be served? And are you serving? From me to we has to be there if you really want to succeed in your speaking skills. It ends up in your speaking skills. Because if you're only thinking of me, let me repeat, if you're only thinking of me, your self-expression will be suppressed. You will not be able to express your emotions well during a presentation. You will not be. Because you're only thinking of me, your attention is on yourself, it's survival mode. Ask any of the winners this past weekend, right? Ask them, especially the world champion of public speaking. Now, I will not try and repeat his name. I have a problem with pronouncing his name. I know that Jyoti can pronounce his name. Jyoti, what's his name? All right, that's a trick question for you, Jyoti.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Sabi. Is that the one which you're asking me?
Sabayashi. Is it Sabayashi?
Sabyasachi, the winner.
Did you see his self-expression? Did you see how he started the presentation? He knelt down and kissed the floor. Well, almost kissed the floor. And then looked up and said, what? Now, if you can do a presentation like that in your Toastmasters Club, it means you are not worried about me. Now you're thinking of how can I support these people and through my speaking, how can they support me in my speaking? It comes out there in your presentation. It does. You want to be a world champion of public speaking, or you want to be a great presenter out in the world? Think differently. Think we. Think team. Think community. And then watch your speaking skills. When you start to serve members, when you start to say, we are a team, how can I help you? How can you help me? Dear evaluator, can you help me with this? And if you are the evaluator, dear speaker, how can I help you? Before the speaker comes on, you meet with them. That is a community. Would you agree? What will you do different? You have the handout, I believe. Irene, did you post the handout?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. So you can post the handout again, just in case people missed it. Write some notes. Well, of course, you might have to print it out. So write notes on a separate piece of paper for now, and then later on print it and put the notes on. Watch it again. Okay? But use that as a cue to write notes. Okay. Do you know who Margaret Mead was? I think she was an anthropologist, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this is what she said. That's Margaret Mead in her earlier years. Never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens. I put in bracket Toastmasters. Because we are in communication, we are leaders. And if you're in communication and leadership, right, what happens? You can change the world because you're good at communication. But only if you're thinking of we, if you're only thinking of me, you try and speak and you will swallow hard. Right? Should I say this? It's because it's all about you now. But if it's about us, then you will speak and you can change the world or your club or your study group, as I like to call it. And here's what she said. Indeed, and I blanked this out, it is the only thing that ever has. A small group of thoughtful, committed Toastmasters can change their club, can change the world through their communication, through their leadership, by thinking of not me, we, us, together, right? I think I've made my point. And that's why I call it collaboration, because it is all to do with collaboration. You are learning to collaborate in an environment that actually supports collaboration. I think there's no other organization, or maybe there are, but Toastmasters stands out as the forefront in terms of how we encourage people to come out of their shells and be engaged with each other. I think we are very lucky. That is the only reason why I have survived 29 years in Toastmasters. And I always think about we, like this particular presentation here, right? I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not getting another DTM out of this. Personally, it's not about me. It's about serving the community. And guess what? I'm also selfish because I'm getting better at my presentations, right? I'm getting better at presenting to a lot of people and live streaming and all that. I'm a one-man show. So it's a lot of work. It is. But I have to thank my team who turns up during these meetings, and I have a timer, I have a Zoom master, I have the MC, right? And you will see them all as co-hosts. If you look at the list, all these co-hosts have come out to support me. They are from Leadership Speak. So I'm lucky that way. But behind the scenes, otherwise, it's really my own project, so I have to do a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Besides what I do for the club and at the club, besides my own business that I run, and so on. Because I think the world can change and be better. My total firm belief that the world can move from value extraction to value generation, value add. That means I have to go the extra mile. I have to walk and exemplify that. And when my club members see that, and I'm the founder of Leadership Speak, they walk the talk because they see the leader walk the talk, and they all become leaders. Even lay members who have no title become leaders, right? So in your club, start walking the talk about we. Now let's look at this. I get carried away. Let's look at this. Okay, so this is very, very important, right? It takes a community to build a leader, and it takes a leader to build a community. It's like a dog chasing its tail. But there is something that comes first, the chicken or the egg question. And here I will answer the chicken and the egg question. Ready? You know what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Put it in the chat. What do you think? I'll wait a second. What do you think comes first, the chicken or the egg? Chicken, egg, chicken, egg, chicken. Where does the omelet fit in? I will put my glasses on because the screen is very far. Let's have a look. I think it's divided between the chicken and the, oh, somebody says chicken and the egg. Thank you. The leader comes first. Bangs. Whoever said the leader, they are quite right. Have you been cheating? Have you been looking at my presentation? Okay, so here we go. Correct. Leader comes first. The chicken comes first. Okay, and they lay an egg and it becomes a community. But guess what? It takes initiative. And this is the key word here, ladies and gentlemen, initiative. Chicken, egg, initiative. To lay an egg, to lay this egg here, right? It takes a lot of energy. Initiative takes a lot of energy. To give birth to something takes a lot of energy, right? And if you're a woman, you probably know that even more than men do. But as leaders, we all know that. That's why we have very few leaders, because they don't want to take initiative, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of attention, it takes a lot of, not me, but we, a lot of it in that initiative, right? That's what a leader has to do. They have to spend a lot of energy. But it's like pushing a car. When you push a car, a static car, it takes a lot of energy to even start to make it roll a bit. Or if you've never pushed a car, driven one, when you first start out a car and you begin to accelerate and move off the curb onto the road, it takes a lot of energy. Initiative, or this first move, takes a lot of energy. I know, because I founded the club Leadership Speak. From 1 week, in 1 week, I mean from launch to being chartered, took 1 week. It was a huge amount of work. Initiative takes a lot of work. But it is in here. It is in the initiative that you grow a lot as a leader. Because now you are not thinking of yourself, you're thinking of, if I'm starting a club and there's 20 people, or if I'm in a club and there's like 10 people in the club, 15, 20, whatever that number is, I have to take the initiative and breathe life into this club. It takes a lot of energy. People say, I'm burned out. At the last presentation where I made this, somebody did say, burnout. I said, if I give you $1 million and ask you to spend $10 10 hours, 10 hours every day in the Toastmasters world, every day in your club, and then at the end of the year, I'll give you $1 million, you'll be there. So something is missing. Is what am I doing here and why am I doing here? Sure, burnout does occur. Sometimes we do get tired. So step back, start reflecting, get it energized, and then step forward again. Right? If I gave you $10 million, all of you would take initiative. So you have to find out what your $10 million is. Why am I doing this? If you don't have that why, and we'll talk about that very soon, right? It all happens with initiative. Why are you in Toastmasters Club? Initiative. So you start with that. So What's the other side of the equation then? Well, here's the other side of the equation. There we go. Collaboration. So when a community begins to form and they collaborate, they create leaders. It is communities that generate leaders, but it takes one or two leaders to create community, which is the hardest work. This isn't that hard work, because now you can learn from those champions, right? Become a community, collaborate, and now can you see it goes round and around. This is very, very important. So are you the chicken or the egg? And can you become a leader even though you may not have a title? If you have a title, then you must show initiative, of course. Bit of energy is necessary. Growth will happen. Tremendous amount of growth. I have, in the past 5 years, thousands of people have attended my events like this. I put in a lot of work, tremendous amount of work. And I've grown Leadership Speak with the help of a great team. Guess what? Because I was not thinking of me, but we, and how can we grow together? I have grown so much better as a coach than I would outside in the real world. And I've been a coach for 33 years. But in the past 5 years, since the pandemic, I put in a lot more effort because I saw in the pandemic that we were going south. I put in so much effort into this community to grow the community. And I became a better coach. I find that when I'm coaching out in the real world, and I'm a professional coach, certified, I am coaching much better. I've become a much better trainer. I've become a much better speaker out in the real world. Initiative. And then collaboration. When you change from me to we, magic happens in the community. Would you agree? What do you think? Yes or yes? Put in the chat. Let me hear from you. What are your thoughts so far? And if you disagree, of course, by all means, I'm not looking for a validation here. All right, so let's put this on one side and let's have a look at a couple of other things. So there is now 4 pillars of a thriving Toastmasters club that builds community. I mean, there's so many different aspects in running meetings and so on. We've covered that on July the 21st and July the 22nd. I spoke for 2 days, hour and a half each day. It's all on the YouTube channel. If you need the link to the YouTube channel, hopefully one of my team members will post it now or will post it later on, because I don't think they were ready for this, and they were not ready for me to ask for that. But the 4 pillars of a thriving Toastmasters club, which is key to creating community, is simply this: purpose. Every member is aligned with the club mission. And I'll go a bit slightly deeper with as an example in a second. But here are the 4 aspects. Belonging. Every member feels seen, heard, and valued. There's the other pillar. Ownership. Members take responsibility for the club's health and success. Okay? Members. It didn't say the executive team. It doesn't say the executive team. It doesn't say the executive team. It says members. Every member is a leader without a title. Those who have titles like DTM, president, district director, whatever, they're just titles. If I took away the title, if I took away the badge, would you be a different person? Or if I gave you the badge of DTM, would you become different? Right? It begins here. This is where the difference is. It's not in the titles. It's not in the designations. It's not in the degrees. It's not in being an engineer or architect. It is in this. And the most important thing of all is stewardship, which means continuity of the club culture into the future, right? Because leaders, whether they are members with titles, doesn't matter. Right? They protect and enhance the culture for the next generation. Key. This is one of the things that we really emphasize in Leadership Speak. That if, and I will eventually step out of Toastmasters, and a lot of our members will step out of Leadership Speak eventually, how will it continue without any of these? This is a key. This is on your handout. All right? Have a look at your handout. But pay attention here. So let's have a look at each one of those. Purpose. What's your purpose for joining Toastmasters Club? Now, it's very difficult if you're just here for social reasons, but we had a poll last, when was it? July the 21st. We had a poll where you asked, why are you in this club? Whether it was for professional development, for the socializing, we had about 4 different options. 98.9% of the people chose for professional development. So I think it would be the same in this particular room. Most of you are here for professional development. Doesn't matter the age that you are in, age group, right? And therefore your purpose has to be aligned with the club mission. And therefore you need to know what the club mission is. Because if you're not aligned to why the club exists, this is the, of course, club mission from Toastmasters International. In an advanced club like Leadership Speak, we not only have the Toastmasters International vision mission statement, but we also have our own mandate. And our mandate is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. And everyone who joins the club has to work towards being a better self-directed leader, on top of the club mission and vision statement supplied by Toastmasters International. We have to align. If you're not aligned, then what are you doing here? Right? So the question would then be, why are you in Toastmasters? And an example is, of course, members don't just come here for speeches, do they? They come because the club is, and I don't like the word club, I like the word study group. Because the study group is about building leaders, connecting and multiplying impact. And that can only happen when you have a purpose. Forget about the belonging, ownership, and stewardship. What's the purpose? Why are you here? Right? Everything the club does links back to a higher purpose. Everything. That's the reason why we exist. This is part of our charter. This is part of our protocols. This is part of our values and mission. And we have to be aligned to that. So now the question is then, or the key phrase for every member, every leader, everyone is, I know why we exist, and I'm aligned with it. So why do we exist? We have to look at the club mission. What's the club mission? We all know this, right? I mean, I never remember this by heart, but whenever I look at it, I know, yeah, of course. And I know the words and what they mean. You actually have to know what the words mean, right? And I will go back to this statement later on. But the statement is simply this, and read it because I will ask you a question later on, right? A trick question. But the question is, we provide, the statement is the club mission statement, is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Remember, it says personal growth. It says self-confidence. Why did I point out personal growth? If I'm only thinking of me, then you will not really grow much, except you're on survival mode. You're not in thriving or flourishing mode. Greatest growth happens in personal development when you're thriving and flourishing, which is personal growth. And also, what does it say? Supportive and positive learning experience. It doesn't say a safe place, which means you have to be authentic. Try and be authentic, right? Rather than sort of whitewash everything. Try and be authentic, but in a way that conveys empathy, yet lifts and inspires people around you. Is a positive learning experience. If people are not growing and you're telling them things, oh, it's okay, it's a great, awesome, even though it wasn't awesome, what happened? So you need to know how to be a great evaluator, and you need to wear that evaluator hat 24/7, not during the 3 minutes you're evaluating. Right? Now, you never looked at this statement like that before, did you? That's why you need to know why you are here. Are you aligned to this? Members are empowered. He didn't say inspired, but I like the word inspired. But when you're doing an evaluation, they're empowered, they're inspired, right? I like the word inspired better. Take your pick. But I'm just adding more to what I can get out of this. Squeezing the lemon till the last drop. Okay? Okay, so having said that, let's go on. Let's go on to the next thing. Okay, ready? Belonging. Members need to feel they belong in this study group. It is a study group studying communication and leadership. And so if you're belonging and there's a sense of belonging, what is that? Every member feels seen, heard, and valued. Not only every member, every guest. Every guest. You come to good clubs, including Leadership Speak. As soon as you enter the room, you are greeted right away. That happens in the clubs that I've been. I give 30 seconds. If the greeter hasn't greeted somebody in 30 seconds, we know we've lost the guest. And members too. And they need to be seen, they need to be heard, they need to be valued. From me to we. You need to be seen, you need to be heard, you need to be valued, and people around you need to be seen, heard, and valued. Right? It's we. It's not only about you. And so, as an example, when a guest walks into your meeting, they feel welcomed immediately. When members walk into the room, they feel welcomed immediately, and they're not huddling with 2 or 3 people here and another 2 or 3 people huddling over here. They're all talking together, and we are moving around and greeting each other, and we know each other. If it's in a physical room, in an online meeting, people are being greeted as they come in, and if there are no guests coming in, you can have a conversation going, right? And members celebrate wins and encourage each other's growth. It's about we. Or the French say we, right? Okay. So the key phrase is, I matter here. I'm part of this team. I'm part of this community. I'm part of this study group. Or if you may, club, but study group is what I prefer, or team, or community. I'm part of it. How can I contribute? Third one, ownership. What does ownership mean? And we saw that in the poll that ownership was the biggest thing. So let's have a look what that means in terms of ownership. The definition is members take responsibility for the health of the success of the club. And that is missing because the community is missing. The me is more prominent than we. So there's a more extractive than addition. And therefore, it's in deficit. And when a club is in deficit for a long period of time, boom, out, right? So all members take responsibility for the health and success of the club. All members. So your orientation is going to be very important. Your mentorship is going to be very important. how you talk to new members and how you talk to each other is going to be very, very important for ownership to happen. Would you agree? Yay? Great. Next, the example. What can I say? What can I say? Exactly. Instead of waiting for the executive team to do everything or to run after you, you know what is the most hated role in Toastmasters at the club level, in the executive team, that nobody wants to take that on? Is the VP of Education. I know, I've been around for 29 years. But I put up my hand and I've done VP of Education. It's so amazing. Why people don't like to do VP of Education is we are in an individuated world where members just come and go. It's all about me, not we, and they do whatever they want. And the VP of Education is running after trying to create the DCP points and get the club going and creating a community. And then they burn out and they don't want, no one wants to be the VP of Education. Thank you, Paramjit. That's the YouTube channel there in the chat. Thank you, Paramjit. So when ownership is present and when the conversations with other members is about how can I help you, what are your goals, right? How can we help you to meet your goals, your speaking goals, right? Which means they have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose to be able to speak like that, right? And therefore, it creates energy, right? Members volunteer for roles, they bring in guests, or you have a good strategy for bringing guests, right? Mentoring each other and ensuring the meeting runs smoothly, and the evaluators are so good. The meeting runs so well. We talked about it so much in the first session, July the 21st, about that, right? Quality and what it means. We talked about operational, strategic, and legacy leadership, 3 levels of leadership. Go and watch that. The meeting runs smoothly. Guests keep coming back. Guess what? At the last leadership speak meeting, how many people we had on the screen? We are an online club. We had about 55 people in the room. 55. Sometimes more. We have 70 odd members. We're going to have some attrition. Sure, the club is always looking for members. We are very choosy about who we let into our club. We have past regional advisors, current district directors, past district directors in our club. And also we have members who just finished their level 3 and had just joined as well the club or the study group from 34 different countries around the world. This is present. From the orientation, it's an advanced club, so we still have an orientation. We have recorded an orientation video, which is about an hour long, and they're required to watch that orientation video and then let us know what they think and if there are any questions, right? And so on. So your orientation, your mentorship, your evaluators have to be up to par, quality. Okay, so what's the key phrase for you then? This is my club. Its success is my responsibility as well. I'm responsible for the success. If the club isn't doing well, look at yourself first and then gather a community around rather than blaming people. Now, here's the thing, for sure. Not all members are fit for the club. They're not a good fit because the club culture is going a certain way and they're not a good fit for this. You may not be a good fit for your club currently in the current club. I don't know, right? So we make sure that everyone is a good fit before they join. Even then, we find members who are not a good fit, and they themselves find out it's not a good fit because the learning curve is very steep, extremely steep, and they don't want to put in the time to learn. So it's not for them, and that's fine. So they don't renew, which is what we call attrition, but it's minimal, right? And they move to another club and so on. It's not the epistrophe with Toastmasters, at least not those people who are in Leadership Speak. It's an advanced club, so most members are dual members anyways. Why I'm saying this is make sure that every member has belonging, ownership, stewardship, right? They have a purpose, which brings us to stewardship, right? And what is stewardship is it creates legacy. Leaders protect and enhance the club culture for the next generation because a club is never static, right? We may have members that have been there for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but eventually they're going to leave. And then who's going to carry forward the club? So it's stewardship, right? So officers don't just focus on their own term. They mentor incoming officers. They mentor everybody else. We actually have a group called Legacy Leaders Group in my club, where about 23 members say we will make sure that the club culture goes on into the future. And they are in education committees, they are in the Sergeant at Arms committees, they are in PR committees. We have about 10, 12 people in the education committee to begin with. We keep members engaged, right? So because we are a bigger club. In a smaller club, have a smaller committee. You are building this when you're involving members, right? So question will always be, what are they leaving behind? That's legacy. Is it going to be stronger when they leave? Did they add more than they took? Or do they take more than they added? Is always the question. Always the question. Members understand the culture and ensure its continuity. Members do. They absolutely have a purpose why I am here. When you do that, you are growing as a leader. See that? The chicken or the egg? You become the chicken rather than part of the egg. And then, of course, you are the egg too. The circle. Okay? So, the key phrase is, I can't see this. My eyes are going. I'm caring for this club so that the future members will thrive. The word is thrive, not survive, thrive, and I would rather say flourish. Right? That's what you want people to think about, not me, but we. Right? Future members. So, when the 4 pillars are present, ladies and gentlemen, the club mission resonates in everything that you do, because now you have asked all your members, what's your purpose? Why are you joining this club? In Leadership Speak, we do. We ask, what's the purpose of your being in this club? We ask them, what's your goal in Leadership Speak now that you've joined? How long will you be in Leadership Speak? What do you want to achieve in the real world out there? What are your goals in the real world? How can we help you achieve them in Leadership Speak by doing the right type of speaking, the right type of opportunities, and so on? We ask that. Most clubs are afraid to ask that because it's always about me, right? It should be about we. And once you do that, it becomes a very strong community. Guests feel energized and want to join in. We have so many guests every week, like endless stream of guests. And members grow faster and deeper because they are now engaged as leaders without title. Purpose, belonging, ownership, and stewardship. Okay? Key for a community. Now, from community to team, how are we going to do that? So the community is all about, as you saw, having a purpose. There's stewardship, right? I mean, ownership, belonging as well. And it's a spirit that you create. But a team is different. A team is when they are playing on the field, on the ground itself, right? What happens? That's the team. So from community to team, there's certain things that need to happen. And I will go into that in a second. Community builds a shared future, right? And there are certain operating procedures that the community has that enhances the team's purpose and the team's performance. And the team works towards goals, towards club success plan and the distinguished club plan. That's what the team does together on the playing field, because when they're on the playing field, it's measured and shows up on the dashboard. And the club success plan is the guidance that helps the community come together, right? This is all interconnected. But the team works towards the goal, especially the DCP points, because now they're playing on the field together in a meeting, whether it's bi-weekly meeting, once a month. Leadership Speak meets every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Toronto, New York. Okay? We're in Ontario, Southern Canada. All right. So what will you do is the question. Are you going to be a passive participant or active participant? And the question is, oh, there it is. Oh, the statement is, be intentional. Have you changed your mind since we began this presentation about 40 minutes, an hour ago? Are you going to be intentional? Are you going to step up? Are you going to take the initiative? It takes a lot of energy to begin with, but once the car is moving and you're consistent, key word is consistent. When you mix consistency and taking the initiative, you get dynamite. Nothing can stop you. Consistency is key, right? Intentionality, stepping up, initiative, being consistent, creating genuine connection in the team, in the community, in the study group. It builds strong relationships, key to success. Begin to collaborate and serve without keeping score. I don't keep score when I'm doing this. It's who came, who didn't come, what sort of a feedback form, how did they fill the feedback form at the end. I'm serving. And if more people have a positive feedback, actually 99.9% of the feedback is positive so far, I might be doing something right. Thank you for all those who did in the past. Okay, that's not a hint that you should do the same today. Do what you want to put in the feedback form later on. Okay, so once more, it takes a leader to build a community, and therefore it takes a community to build a leader is key. You got to understand that the chicken or the egg, what's coming first. And the team score, which I'm going to talk about next, is shown on the dashboard when you come together as a team. Okay, so the leadership multiplier will transform your club, this club, any club, into something the guests can't help but join and members can't imagine leaving. There will always be some attrition, but it won't be much attrition. Zero attrition, well, that's very rare that I've been in 12 different clubs and I've never seen zero attrition. But I see from time to time on the dashboard, well, it's the addition and what was the total is the same. So I think there are very few clubs, when there's about 7 or 8 of them, they may not have attrition. But most clubs, if there are 20, 25, 30 members, there's going to be attrition. Right? But most members will not leave because they're dissatisfied. Right? Attrition only happens because there's a reasonable reason to leave. That's the only time they will leave. Nobody wants to leave a good party. So in summation, here's your community. New members come in, right? You've created a strong community. New members are coming in all the time. Guests converted into new members, of course. They come into the community. They begin to understand what the community is. And they're members that will be exiting at some point in time. But the community has to remain there. So what's that in the community now is those 4 pillars that I mentioned. put it, I'll put it in other words, those 4 pillars, okay? And here it is. There's culture of high quality, excellence, and service. That's sort of a culture, right? The culture is sustained through legacy, making sure that everyone understands that we're building future leaders, and it's sustainable, and it's reinforced on a very regular basis. Why are we here? What's our purpose, right? And of course, therefore, purpose. Why are we here? Key. And we are all leaders here, and we come together. It's about we, not me, right? And we all take that initiative, that energy it needs to push the car from standstill into a moving object, and then being consistent. You will have a community that will thrive 20 years down the road when you come back and say, let me see that club I was with. How is it doing? You look on the dashboard. Oh my goodness. Something must be great in that club. Now, you don't want, see, there's these clubs that go right up and down through the years. Sure, clubs should be going just in a slight wave form, but not in like huge swings, or and then sometimes disappear. I've seen in my career a lot of strong clubs that have been strong for many years suddenly just disappear, just like that. Because they're going, should be going nice musical waveform, right? I present to you the leadership multiplier. This is what multiplies leaders. This is going to change the world. You now know how to create a community, right? Boom. It begins at Toastmasters, where you learn how to create a community in the real world. The communities that you're partaking in, whether it's your work or other communities that you're partaking in, the street you live in is a community. This same principle applies. All right, good. I think I've made my point. All right, okay. Oh, yes. Make sure purpose, belonging, ownership, stewardship, all these things moving around. This is what the world needs, ladies and gentlemen. So when you live here, how will you build community in every role that you take is a question for you to answer. Either type it out or write it down somewhere as to how you will build a community. What will be better when you go back to your club? What will you do different? Know the culture, exemplify excellence. Hopefully your culture is one where it is service and excellence is present in that culture. And then you exemplify that excellence, walk the talk, right? And every role that you take, make sure you know how to plan, prepare, and practice before you present that role. Mentorship, evaluations. Incorporate the past evaluation into your presentation. It all boils down to the same thing again, right? And train each other, mentor each other to the nth degree. That's the leadership multiplier. And finally, I'm just trying to rush a bit here. What I want to say is this. See, this is really a study group, right? It's a study group. It's a community where people are coming to learn. Communication and leadership is so important. And what I've just said, if most Toastmasters leave Toastmasters, or while they're still here, they've learned such good skills and gained such good confidence that out in the real world, they're beginning to make a difference on the street, in their families, at their workplace, in the communities where they hang out. We will be able to articulate our thoughts and ideas into powerful words and actions. That's what we are learning here as a community. And it only comes because when we think of we, not me, right? I've explained that before, as to why it comes in we, not me. And where we speak with confidence, conviction, and credibility, it happens here. Are you doing that? Are you still holding yourself back? Are you expressing yourself the way you need to? There's something that's there. You can feel it, but you are not able to express it still. Look at whether you're thinking of me, what will people think of me, or I'm thinking of we are a supportive group. And let me try something out different. Let me see how I can express myself. Leadership multiplier, right? This is what the world needs. Leaders who can inspire, build communities, and collaborate on very important issues. The world, especially now, every day you turn on the news. I don't watch the news. I turned my TV off 25 years ago. But if you do, you know what's going on, right? It's getting more and more negative these days. So what is that one thing that you will put into practice immediately? I've asked you this question 2 minutes ago. Here's the question again. And I would like to launch the poll number 2 now and see where you are at with this presentation so far. Thank you, Irene. So please, Jyoti, if you can read this poll number 2.
Yes. Poll number 2. First one. After today's session, which area will you personally focus on to strengthen your club community? Purpose, keeping our mission alive in everything we do. Belonging, making sure every member or guest feels valued. Ownership, stepping up and taking responsibility. Stewardship, protecting and building the culture for the next generation.
Let me put on my glasses so I can see a bit better. The screen is so far away. Good. So please get engaged. Think about this. We'll give you an extra minute to think about this. Take your time. Good. Almost equal with some of them. Keep going. Keep going. Few more. We are 69 of you here who can vote. So 47 have done so far. I will end the poll in the next 20 seconds. Somebody's asking where is the poll? Well, the poll is right there on the screen. I can see it. Can you all see the poll? Jyoti, is the poll visible?
The poll is visible. I was able to read it out maybe.
If you can't see the poll, I apologize. I don't know. You'll have to check your technology, but I can see the poll and I can see people voting. So if you can't see, please do check your technology and see. It could be behind another window or in another window somewhere. Or you might be using a very old version of Zoom. Okay, great. So we will end this poll. Irene, if you can take a screenshot and share the results as well, and take a screenshot and post it in the chat. Let me know when you've done that.
It's all done.
Thank you. Wonderful. We'll close the poll. Well, it's already closed now. So let me just see, make sure that it's not on my screen either. All right, great. Okay, so we talked about, of course, the community, and the community creates a team worthy of doing some amazing things on the playing field, which is your meetings, right? Which is, I call it high-performing team. Call it what you like. Why I say call it what you like is what would you like to call your team that is playing on the field on your meeting day? Is it a high-performing team or whatever team that is, right? I like to think of it as a high-performing team. So a high-performing team is one that shows quality, has trained and practiced the roles beforehand, okay? And we talk of three things: clear roles, one mission, and we know what the mission is. Train relentlessly, mentor relentlessly. So train and mentor at the same time. Coach, right? Relentlessly. We do that in my club every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time, my time. All members who have a role, especially if they are new to the role, they will come and practice the role. And we have a trainer that has trained them, mentored them beforehand, 2 weeks beforehand, if possible. We do that relentlessly. And creating trust and accountability, that if I say I'm doing the role, that I know what I'm doing, that I've been trained by my mentor, and that my mentor will train me, and I'm accountable for my role to produce the results that I said I will. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means you're pursuing excellence. You will make mistakes. This is a place where we make mistakes. Of course, we have to come with a learning mindset. Again, go to the YouTube channel. You'll see an hour-long presentation on growth mindset in Toastmasters, what it means. It's there. Let's look at each one of these one at a time. So before we do that, there's another poll. Irene, poll number 3 for high-performing teams. If you can launch that one. We'll wait for Irene to launch so that we know what a team does or what you think it does. Then I'll make a presentation and then we'll launch the poll again. And let's see if your answers are different. For of course, the other one, the other poll that we had, I think it was, was there a change, Irene, in the other poll from the first to the second one? I think it was more belonging than ownership. Initially, it was ownership was the highest. I think it changed to belonging as the highest. Irene, are you launching that poll? Poll number 3?
I'm unable to launch it just yet, so I'm asking a member of the team if they're able
Sure.
to.
Paramjit, if you can access that poll number 3. If it's not there, if there may be a technological error. If it is, just let me know. We'll just move on.
The poll is there, but I'm unable to launch it completely. It says the result is being shared in the meeting.
Second poll, can we try and stop sharing that if it is still visible?
Also not able to see that poll here. Let me check it again.
Okay, there you go.
All right, it's there now.
Thank you, Irene. So here's a poll. Jyoti, if you can read this one for us.
High performance teams, poll 3. 1. If you had to describe your club or the team today, which level best fits? Friends kicking a ball around, casual but no real structure. Average team, some structure but inconsistent performance. Good team, clear roles, some accountability, solid but not exceptional. High-performing team, strategic, accountable, pursuing excellence. GOAT, greatest of all time. Relentless, self-directed, and unstoppable.
Good. I can see people are engaged. Thank you very much. We'll give you a minute more, and then we'll go through very quickly. We are running out of time otherwise. As I said, when I start talking, I can't shut up. I'm a DTM, which means don't time me. Irene, how are we doing on the poll?
66% have participated, have voted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, great. We'll wait for a minute. Wait for a minute more, Irene, and then you can shut it down and then present the results. I'll just continue
Yes.
because we might run out of time. And can you post the handout as well for the high-performing teams? And let me know when it's done, Irene. Thanks. Okay, so very quickly. Clear roles, one mission. What do I mean by that? And we want to move beyond. I'm just getting close to the screen so I can read it. I can't even read it with my glasses on. But average is with some structure but inconsistent performance is the most. I do have we have quite a number of high-performing teams here. Thank you so much for saying that. And hopefully you can take it to the next level, to the GOAT level, right? Good, good, good. Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Irene. That's the results. Okay. So clear roles, one mission. What do I mean by that? See, whether you're in the executive committee or in the education committee, whatever committee you are in or on the executive team, I mean, right? Taking a role in a meeting or a member at large, you know what you're doing, right? You know exactly what's going on. So there's clarity in the role, that you know what is expected of you because you either talk to your mentor because you're new, or you have practiced the role even if you have been around for a while and you need to practice a little bit as to what you will be doing, because you are in a study group and a study group comes together after they've practiced so that they can perform a little bit better and make some mistakes and get some feedback and then improve their performance the next time around. Right? So if I can read this statement, it's puzzling to me, this statement. I wrote this, but it's still puzzling today. So it says, whether you are in the education committee, whether you're in the executive team, whether you are taking a role in a meeting or you're a member at large, you know clearly what your role is, right? You're being mentored and you're mentoring, and you're training and you're being trained, and you know what the mission is, which is the club mission. This is the direction I'm going in. And so here it is again, the club mission, right? The club mission is simply, and I've blanked out a few things here. 3 things I've blanked out. Now, if you remember, all right, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which blank, 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 to develop communication and leadership skills resulting in blank and another blank. So what are these blanks? Okay, let me press the right button. Where members are empowered. Remember, I said I love this particular statement, where members are empowered. I also love, of course, positive learning experience. Positive learning experience where members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence. Remember, we said, how can you speak with confidence, conviction, credibility? Those are the things you need to be a leader, to be seen as a leader out in the real world. You are practicing here. And my favorite of all, maybe because I'm a coach, maybe because I'm a trainer, personal growth is so important. And therefore, it should be present in your roles, whether you're in the education committee, executive committee, taking a role, whatever you're doing, or any other committee. I just said education committee because that's our largest committee. We've got 10, 12 members. We have many other committees as well. You need to know, this is what I'm doing. And I'm practicing my role so that I can come better next time. I've incorporated my evaluation, whether it's a speech, whether it's a grammarian, eye counter, quiz master, table topic master, or a speaker, whatever it is, you're getting better consistently. Consistently. Be on the agenda consistently. But don't hog the agenda, of course. Don't say, I'm going to be doing a presentation, a speech every week, of course. Unless, of course, there's you're only about 8 or 9 of you, then that's different. But be engaged, be consistent, and take the initiative. First, be the leader, then be the egg. And then hatch the chicken. All right? So this is how you create great team. Knowing what you're doing. Knowing what your members are doing. Irene, can you post the, have you posted that handout?
Yes,
Train
I have.
relentlessly, mentor relentlessly. Standards and benchmarked for excellence. In my club, our standards are over here. And that's why we have members who join, whether they've been past district directors or whoever they are, they find our standards way out there, right? Because we benchmark ourselves for excellence. There you go, it's there, the handout is there. Don't start reading it, just have a look at it, make some notes, and then later on, please do revisit this presentation and make some more notes later on. But the handout is there as I had promised. Because when we are expecting excellence, and it's the norm, we create an experience that inspires deep engagement. It begins with you. So that's why I said you are the leader without a title. When you get on the floor in front of the audience, I'm the counter. I know what I'm doing. The very basic role. It could be for the first time ever. But I know what I'm doing because my mentor and I connected. And I was in the meeting 3 weeks in a row, and I watched others, and I know what they're doing. And now it's my turn. And I will shake in my shoes. But I will get through it, and I will learn something. Because I've got strong support from we, not from me. For a new member. That's one. And and this is the third one, the trust and accountability. I've listed all the 3 years, so we're going one by one. Trust and accountability is so key, it's so important. And I'm going to talk more about this in a second. But integrity is key. Saying what you will do and following through. Right? Say what you mean and mean what you say. Be exemplary. Walk the talk. When you make a commitment, you follow through. It's key. When you're in a world-class championship playing field in sports where people are being paid millions of dollars, they turn out and they know the position they're playing in. And they've practiced relentlessly, right? Now, of course, we are a Toastmasters club. We are beginners. Some of us are not beginners. But whatever level you are at, make sure you're walking the talk by aligning to the club. Ta-da, vision again, right? You need to know why I'm here. So clear roles, one mission means what? I'll switch off my video for a second. It is about connection. It's about collaboration. It's about teamwork. It is about you have a piece of jigsaw puzzle and your mentor has a piece of jigsaw puzzle, or another member has another piece of jigsaw puzzle. You have your individual strengths. You bring them together to create magic. This creates magic by connection, true, genuine connection, by truly collaborating and coming together. We've mentored each other, we've trained together. Now we are on the playing field, on the playing day. We will make mistakes because we are new to this game, but we'll play the game, we'll learn something, and we will up-level the next time around. That's what we are doing. Clear roles, one mission is the team, it's accountability, right? Do you know who this person is? Those of you who play soccer know, or those who've been watching soccer for the past couple of years know. I never knew this guy until the World Cup came in 2 years ago. I don't watch sports. I don't have a TV, but I was like so enthralled when my friend said, we're going to a bar to watch the finals of soccer. And I said, I'll come with you. And we sat there for 2 or 3 hours and they played the game that was outstanding. This is Messi. His name is Messi, Messi. Argentina. This is Team Argentina, right? And he is one of the highest paid players on the planet. It took a community to create this leader. It took some leaders to create the community. He is the product of the chicken and the egg and the initiative and the consistency. Consistency. Right? And therefore, they train relentlessly, they come on the field, and here it is. Watch this.
Messi. Oh, absolutely astounding. And with that goal, Lionel Messi becomes Argentina's all-time leading scorer. Messi! Sheer class. It never fades away.
Messi encara Valenciaga, li fan un 3 contra 1, ja se n'ha fet un, ja s'ha fet el segon, ja s'ha fet el tercer, entra a l'àrea Messi, se'n fa un altre, gol!
What a show by the best player on the planet! Thank you, God! Thank you, God, for letting me watch this! Thank you, God, for having Lionel Messi be a football player!
I think Messi is one of a kind. What he's doing, I don't know if we will see another player do the things that he does.
Brilliant, look at that.
You saw the world champion of public speaking this weekend, for those of you who watched it. That's what he was doing, that Messi was doing. You could do the same. Consistency, knowing the role, playing out full out on the floor, in the arena, being on the court, playing full out, taking your evaluation and the feedback and taking it to the next level. I'm not saying that you can all, or you should all be the world champions of public speaking. There's only one each year. But you could become a damn good public speaker or presenter, a great communicator, and a leader that can inspire. That is my goal, consistently to master the art of presentation. That's why I'm here. I'm actually practicing right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's power in the standard of operating procedures. There's trust and accountability. And how do we create that? And the question here is, where do you stand? Where do you stand? Are you indifferent in your club? Right? I'm sure none of us are from the answers that I've gotten in the polls. None of you are mediocre either. Some of you are good, average, good enough. But good enough isn't good enough these days, as you know. Right? Some of you are following excellence. Quite a few of you were. Others are falling outstanding. Some are doing the legendary level, mastery level. That is my purpose. That is my purpose. And actually, this is my purpose. Being the GOAT, and you all know what GOAT means, right? Being the greatest of all time. This platform allows us to do that. If I'm thinking of we, I can begin to express myself. If I'm thinking of me, I will never be a GOAT. I will be somewhere here, trying to struggle to get up somewhere. I go to clubs and they've been speakers and Toastmasters for 10, 15 years, and they're over here. Why? I don't know. You got to ask yourself, unless you're just satisfied and you're just there for social reasons. But from the poll that we had on July the 21st, we said we're all here for personal growth. And so most of us should be here, right? Over here, at least, if not over here. I'm striving to be here. Why not? Why not? So, where does high performance begin? Where do I say is high performance begin? Some of you did answer that quite correctly in the poll, right? It begins right there, at the excellence level. So let me just put off my... So, excellence level is where, when you know that you are applying the values, right? Excellence, but it's one of our 4 core values. Excellence is one of them. That you're actually applying and living it, and you're the living proof of application of that value. Right? This is where your standard operating procedure is one of excellence and beyond. Go that extra mile. If you're already at excellence and you go that extra mile, you go to the outstanding level. And then you add some more value, you go to the mastery level. Do you see what I mean? Right? It's so easy. If you're applying just the value of Toastmasters International, excellence level, bring club quality up, and then go that extra mile and add some value, what's preventing you from being a GOAT? When you know that I can express myself and be who I am, and I'm not afraid to do a presentation where I may look like a fool, and maybe I do right now to some of you, but I'm not seeking validation. And so the power of standard operating procedure, when you want to be somebody who's being paid millions of dollars, some of you do, I know, and some of you just want to be great professionals at what you do or make difference in your community, it happens over here, not over there. What's your standard operating procedure is my question. What is it? So let's look at a Harvard Business Review, the best practices of a high-performing team, or the best practices of a Toastmasters study group that's coming together to study communication and leadership. What are the best practices? Well, here they are. There's 5 of them. Okay, number one is they communicate and connect frequently, not the communication where I have a role to as a speaker and I stand up and speak, but in between the meetings, how are we with each other? And if you go to the presentation I did on July the 21st, you will see it there, right? Leadership happens not in the meeting, but outside in the meeting where strategy and legacy happens there. Watch that presentation if you haven't. And if you already watched it, watch it again. And see what you can take away from it and incorporate that in your club. Communicate and connect frequently, genuine connection with your members so that you feel like you are on the same level playing field. That is how a high-performing team does what it does. Team Argentina, World Cup winners, Messi, the top player globally, or Tiger Woods in golf a few years back, right? I don't know who the new golfing champion is if you're in golf. Meetings are strategic, they are high quality, and when guests walk in, they go, wow, I want to come back. We have guests that have been attending for 3-4 years. We allow them to come. They cannot afford to pay. Instead of watching Netflix, they're watching leadership speak meetings. I'm telling you, they do. Come on a Saturday and watch. Excellence is the norm. It's one of our key values, and it is the norm to serve with excellence, being the high standard. And we bond over non-work topics as well. After our meetings, after your meetings, do you hang out at the bar or wherever you're, a restaurant, a cup of tea, or if you're in an online meeting, do the members hang out and just communicate with each other and bond and get to know each other besides being a Toastmaster? That creates a high-performing team when we know each other more than why we are here on this arena for. Give and receive appreciation. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Appreciation is the food, breakfast of champions. And the key thing again is your evaluations have to have critical thinking. I've done a lot of presentations in this forum here in the past, and I will be doing some coming up in September and October on evaluations and how to think critically. Be sure not to unsubscribe to the emails, and you will get that email which will be coming out soon for September. But in between now and that evaluation workshops, we are going to do a couple more workshops in this series as well. But critical thinking is so important in your evaluations, which means the speaker needs to think critically. If you watch the World Champions of Public Speaking, right? Sabayashi Sengupta, hope I'm pronouncing it well. Did you watch his speech? Again, it's on YouTube. It's already posted there. There was an audience takeaway and how he began his presentation and what was the title, and it all tied in, right? Step by step by step to the ending. And it was like, wow, what a presentation. There was critical thinking involved in his presentation, how he had structured and how he was going to end and what was the audience's takeaway. This is what we emphasize in evaluations, by the way. Whether we are a community club, an advanced club, a corporate club, it doesn't matter. Critical thinking is something that we all need to learn. It's so important. And is it present? Or are you whitewashing your evaluations? Oh, it was great. You know, the evaluator stands up and the first thing they says, wow, excellent. You get that, right? Don't say wow and excellent. This is not an evaluation training. We'll go into that in a few weeks' time. But you know, you do understand when the evaluator begins with wow, excellent, oh great, you know the rest of the evaluation is going. But if the evaluator begins with you excelled at, and then whatever it is, you know that evaluation is going to be good. Or the evaluator begins with this was my takeaway, this was the audience's takeaway. Now you know the evaluation is going to be great. Critical thinking is present. Enough said. This is what creates high-performing teams. If you're a soccer team, evaluation is, of course, the feedback you get from your coach. Don't run over there, run over there. Make sure the ball is passed over here, and so on, right? That's all evaluation and feedback. To become a world champion, you know exactly where the ball will be and where you will be and how you will kick it. Here they are again. All right, okay. Make a screenshot. I'll go on to the next one. Okay, so here we go. Trust and accountability, the team mission, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, is simply this. It's a club mission. We provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Keywords in there. Try and see if those resonate with you and if you are aligned with this team mission. It creates trust, it creates accountability. It makes sure that when you turn up on the field, you practiced beforehand. You just didn't turn up. You didn't write your speech half an hour before or 2 days before. You practiced your speech 3 weeks before, 4 weeks before. And you went through the whole Pathways project, reading the whole criteria before you went into and did what you did. We're coming to an end. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. The red light's gone on. Thank you, Gilda. So here we go. This is the end. Launch poll number 4. High performance teams. Irene, we are ready to take it on. There we go. Now, what do you think? Sorry, Jyoti, if you can read that for us.
Understand? Yeah. Here it says, poll number 4. After today's session, what will you focus on? First, to move your team or club closer to GOAT level. The next one is clarify roles and mission, making sure everyone knows their part and the shared goal. Next, train relentlessly, practice, preparation, and continuous learning. Trust and accountability, creating a culture where commitments matter. Next, adopt best practice. Communication, strategic meetings, appreciation, bonding. The last one, raise our SOP level. From average to excellence, aiming for GOAT standards.
Thank you. Irene, how's the voting going?
Yeah, it's going on.
Thank you.
26 out of
50%.
50.
Good. So, good. Adopt the best practices is so far going strongest. 32 only voted. Keep going. I like to see more people getting engaged here. Are you trying to make the right answer? Whatever answer you do is the right answer for you. Okay, it's nothing about being popular. So let's have all of you vote for this. I'm just trying to move this off my screen a bit. Irene, after 1 minute, you can end this while I keep going because we are almost to the end. So what did we learn today? We learned about high-performing teams, right? And we talked about clear roles, one mission, training relentlessly, mentoring relentlessly, coaching relentlessly, right? And that trust and the accountability that we create. I will be on that playing field. 3 weeks from now, if I said that to my VP of Education, it's marked on the agenda, I will be there and I will be practicing. And I will have written my speech long time before because I don't want to let down my team. It's not about me. It's about we, the team, we. right? It's all about we. If it's only about me, yeah, none of this really matters. And the leadership multiplier, we talked quite a bit about it. The community is formed, new members come in, members exist, but the community is held together by a few things. And there's culture, sustainability, and reinforcing the message of our culture. We know our purpose, we know it's all, everybody's the leader, we're taking the initiative and putting in the necessary energy when we need to. The chicken comes first, the egg comes later, and goes around in a circle. Thank you, Irene. If you can share the results. I think if I may look at it, adopt best practices seems to be the one. If you can share the results and then take a screenshot and post. Thank you, Irene. Okay, great. And of course, for the community, we knew it was purpose, belonging, ownership, and stewardship, right? These are the main things to remember, really. We talked about it extensively. So there you go, leadership multiplier and high-performing team. We learned quite a bit today. Make sure that you make notes on what you will take away, what you will use in your club immediately. Next time around you come, be prepared to share. In the next time around, whenever it's going to be actually in 2 weeks' time. Here's the thing. On September the 8th, I'm going to do a session, okay? And it'll be about taking charge. It's my favorite subject. And after that, after September the 8th, I will actually do that case study that I missed out on July the 22nd. If you were a member of 10 clubs, how to revive that club. I will do that, I promise. Now, why am I doing a presentation on September the 8th? Because September the 7th is very, very important to me. Extremely important. I was born on that day. It is a Sunday. So on a Monday, September the 8th, I'll be celebrating my birthday with you. Come and attend, and we'll all celebrate together here. Thank you, AJ. Thank you for that advance birthday wishes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from club to community. Remember, the series is called Any Club Can Thrive, Any Member Can Succeed. It can, it does. I can walk into any club, and if they allow me, I can put in excellence, I can put in service, I can put in the coaching and the mentoring, and it would succeed. Any club. I can walk into any club if they allow me to do it. I know some clubs are like, no, you can't do that. And I see a lot of, this is my pet peeve. I see a lot of executive teams where they get on the executive team, they say, no, we can't let the members do that. They will get, they'll be afraid or they will not perform well. And we try to diminish the members rather than, oh yeah, let's see what the members can do, right? What we are doing when we sort of diminish members and say, oh no, they can't do this, and no, we shouldn't be doing that for the members. We are trying to diminish them because it's just a reflection of what's going on internally. Whatever is going on internally, we are reflecting out in the world. To change the world, we change what's in here. It's leader first, initiative, and then the egg, the community, and then collaboration and back to creating the leader. Okay, that's it. That's the formula. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let me talk about a bit. So that's the end of the presentation. Okay. Thank you very much all for being here. But if you want to know more about Leadership Speak, Hannah, if you can post in the chat the feedback form for us. I would love for you to fill in the feedback form. Please do that because it tells me as to how well I did today and how I can improve. That's my evaluation. So that feedback form that's posted in the chat is my evaluation. Please fill that in. So what I mean is, don't just take from here, give something back by filling in the evaluation form as well.
I have questions.
Thank you very much. I can see that. Yes. Thank you, Hannah. And what I will do is I will change some settings here so you can unmute yourselves. We don't let people unmute themselves because there's like 70, 80 people, sometimes 100 people, and there's a lot of noise sometimes the audience makes, right? And that's the reason why we shut it off. But now the chat is, you can speak if you wish, you can shout out, you can put up your hand, we can have a chat. But Leadership Speak is, of course, created in February 17th, I believe, 2022. It's just over 3 years old. Right from day one, we launched and charted in 1 week. From February to June, it was President's Distinguished. In the first full year, we were one of the top 5 clubs globally. We were the top club in the district. Last year, we did 160 odd education awards with 55 members. And of course, the top club globally again, and so on. So year after year, in the district and globally, because of the things that I talked about today. And the things that I talked about last time, July the 21st and July the 22nd, we do those things. Any club can succeed, any club can thrive, and so on. And that's what Leadership Speak does. If you have any questions about Leadership Speak, please by all means, or fill in the feedback form. Hannah, can you post the feedback form again for our members here and our guests here? What I would like to say is, Leadership Speak is a thriving community. Yes, on the dashboard it shows 71 members. About 10, 12 will leave. We meet on Saturdays for 2.5 hours, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We also meet on Tuesdays. The training part takes place on Tuesdays, where I coach and mentor personally in leadership skills and speaking skills, how to become a great, amazing speaker with deep evaluations. I actually spend about 5-6 minutes evaluating, because it's an unofficial meeting. We go round robin, and then I pick your speech apart and tell you where exactly you could reconfigure it for the next level of speaking, and so on. So we do that on Tuesday, as well as what makes a great leader. We talk about that. And then on Thursdays, we train for the role that's coming up for you. If you're a role taker, on a Saturday, we train that on Thursday. But a trainer will have gotten in touch with you, a trainer mentor, about 2 weeks before your role comes due, and to train you as to what you need to do. And then you come on a Thursday to sort of practice it. And therefore, when you come on a Saturday as a guest, you go like, wow. And that is the wow factor. So that's Leadership Speak. We walk the talk, everything that I've said, and we have got a lot of members here from Leadership Speak. I'm sure they can say that's what we do. If you have any questions, raise your hand or let me know, or shout out about Leadership Speak. You can only join Leadership Speak, by the way, if you have at least level 3, okay, of one pathway, minimum. We do have members who have done the minimum, but we have a lot of members who are past regional advisors, district directors, past district directors, medalist distinguished past district directors, club growth directors, division directors, area directors, and members with no titles. We have a whole range. We have members who are like in their early 20s, and we have members who are past their 80s, perhaps. I don't know. We have a whole range of membership. All right. Harold, how are you doing, my friend?
I am sensational.
So good to know, Harold. I hope I was able to serve you well today.
You did a good job, a sensational job. I think everyone learned something from your presentation today. Got a lot to think about, and a lot to take home with us and utilize in our clubs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, which is your club? Is it you're in London, right? I believe.
Yes, I'm in London. I belong to 2 clubs in London: Thames Valley Toastmasters and London City Hall.
Yeah, I remember that. You've been a member of London City Hall for quite a while now, right?
Well, I started that club 19 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And Thames Valley was the club I joined 40 years ago, 40.
40 years ago. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Harold, you're an old man.
I'm only 29.
Just like me. I've been around for 30 years, so I totally understand.
Thank you,
Thank you
Brahm.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I see that we have Tony Breshit in the audience here, I believe. Where did he go? Tony, are you there?
Hello.
Tony, what's your take on today's presentation? I mean, the genuine take.
It's going through my mind, when the last poll, which one would I select?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, as you said, there's no wrong answer, right? Your circumstances and context and all those things. But for me, the one I selected, and I'm just throwing this out there, is trust. Building trust, because, to build trust is a relationship type thing. Now, on the other hand, one of the other choices was to develop clarity. Well, that's something an individual could do, and that's excellent. We should all try to establish clarity. But to develop trust is one of the hardest things to do, because it's, if I want to develop trust in my club or more trust, it's a cultural thing. And it takes a lot of effort, a lot of things to do. And in business, you hear a lot in business, different things in business. But they say that, culture eats strategy for breakfast. That's a quotation attributed to Peter Drucker.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of people besides Peter Drucker, like Tony Robbins, John Maxwell. They're all good, and they may have different sayings. But that's one of Peter Drucker's saying, and it's very popular in business. Culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Right.
And one of the first things the first thing that's required to develop culture is to build trust. So that's how. Now, businesses are for developing competitive edge, competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Communities like ours, you say community, hey, Brahm? Communities like ours is, we're looking for continuous improvement, personal continuous improvement, not competitive advantage, continuous improvement. So, and we're not individuals in that sense,
right,
because as part of the community, we're part of that village.
Yes.
So, it'd be nice if I could trust my neighbor. I used to work for many, many, many years ago, because you and I were born in the same year. So, man, I used to work for a company where we went on an outing, it was like a retreat. And it was the kind of fantastic group of people that we could leave our wallets and keys on the table, and they would be there the next morning,
Wow.
And that's rare. That was where, I still, when I think of that, it warms my heart. It's sort of like a guiding star. That's, it can happen. In my case, with that story, it did happen. I had the same experiences with a hockey team, a sports team. We all have our experiences like that. And those are the things that we embrace. Well, at least I do. And it's something that we should try to develop in our clubs. Have that. So anyway, you asked and I answered.
Thank you, Tony, for explaining in detail what you meant by trust. And it is very difficult. You're absolutely right. Trust is not easy to come by. And especially in today's world, really, the way things are going. So, Craig, how are you doing, Mr. Craig Sr.? Where's Craig Jr.?
Oh, he's in British Columbia, actually. Working in Jasper Park.
Oh, all right.
Good to see you again, and
nice to see you again, Craig. How are you doing?
You just inspire me every time. We should be playing this every day. Just to drill it into the head and convert it into action that we are taking. Good news, we are applying many of the principles that I've heard here to our club. Magically, things, engagement, participation, new members, retention are improving.
Awesome.
No surprise to you, of course, I know, but
Well, thank you. That makes my day, actually.
I'm
At
serious.
least I made a difference to one person. You know, I was telling my team, I hope at least I make a difference to one person. If I make a difference to 0 people, at least I've practiced my presentation.
Right.
So thank you, Craig, for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad I saw it on the email. I was able to pop in, and excellent. Superlative. Get on that big stage, and I'm looking for the next word, next verb, without being too evangelical. Spread the good word of wisdom.
Have you competed again, Craig, at your district level since the last time? Or what was it, 3-4 years back?
Yes. Evaluation contest.
You seem to like evaluations better than speaking, right?
Oh no! I like speaking. I just I lately have been experimenting with things and doing things just for the fun of it. So sometimes I'm taunting the judges almost just to see what they do with it. They don't award me with a winning prize, but I have fun. Evaluation, yeah, I did something totally different this time. I did a non-standard evaluation. It just happened that the speaker did a subject about a phoenix in his life and growing out of the ashes of an activity in the speaker's past. And I used that to create a story trajectory, a phoenix for his speech. And basically got the speaker's permission to go on a journey. In my evaluation, I used the physical stage to show the journey and the journey of his speech.